Hi, friends. Hello, hello. How you all doing? Today we're going to have live with me, immigration lawyer Alina Sholtsova. We're going to be discussing the most recent immigration news. I'm going to be covering some truly bizarre news that was reported by Fox News with regard to one DHS official. We're going to also talk about the new updates that USCIS published with regard to a T visa, T visa. I also am going to cover a little bit about Trump's plan to deport everybody who may be considered to be an enemy of the state. I did have a short video about this, but I know it's an extremely well covered by media topic right now. So we're going to be talking about that as well. And we're going to talk about asylum. Now, stay with me till the end, because in the end, I'm going to have a surprise for you. This time, we're going to be developing our lives to be more interesting, more engaging, and bringing more value to you guys. And we're going to start today. And yeah, if you would like to discuss something else, anything else, let's do that. Let me know where you're watching from. Tell me your name or your nickname. Say hello, wave, say hi. Don't forget to like, share the stream. Send me your love. Send me your hearts if you're watching me on TikTok. And send your stars if you're watching me on Facebook. Just like the stream if you're watching on YouTube, so that we can grow more and more people are going to be joining us. And of course, don't forget about your questions. Don't forget about your questions. For the question portion as well, what I would want you to do, we're going to start collect questions on specific topics, and we're going to have topic specific lives. That, for example, will cover something like EB2 in the United States, how to receive that. EB2 is something that helps you to move to the United States from overseas, or if you're in the United States to get the green card. And we're going to be covering those topics specifically, so that if you're looking for answers, now it's a good time for you to ask those questions. And the more questions I have on a specific topic, the more productive our life is going to be covering the topic. So guys, please go ahead. Don't be shy. If you're watching me on TikTok, send me direct messages. We're going to be collecting information from direct messages, because TikTok, unlike lives on YouTube and Facebook, doesn't save the recordings, so I won't be able to refer to your comments. All right, but I will be able to check out the messages. All right, and please, guys, don't be shy. Again, say hello, and let's start. We're going to start with the first news, which is very interesting. So it's titled "Auto Betrayal. New report reveals DHS official used social media to promote illegal immigration." I mean, this just sounds bizarre. Like, what is happening in this world, right? Fox News reports, but apparently this is what's happening. And I do not know what position that person held, and I haven't verified myself if that person was even employed by DHS, but we're going to believe this trusted source. Basically, the person who worked for the government was posting videos covering journey of immigrants who came through the border to the United States, focusing specifically on the benefits that they received in the United States, such as, for example, work permit, access to health care, and things like that. Now, I do not know what was the purpose of that channel, or those media channels that the person utilized, whether they were making money somehow independently based on those testimonials. I have no idea, but I just find it super bizarre that it's happening in the United States. I guess you do need to know better if you work for the government. I mean, you can lose your job if you promote something that goes against the general guidelines. But again, I do not know even if it's true. If you know more about this interesting story, let me know. Maybe you even know somebody who uses those channels, let me know. I think it's worth discussing these things, just because especially this whole immigration politics things kind of like becomes like this big ball of everything tangled together prior to the elections. But I think it's very interesting, right? That the person who is not an attorney and works for the government may just open social media channels and start uh, basically sharing information. And I don't know even if that information was true or not. But the whole thing is very interesting. I believe it was used for some sort of solicitation, but why else you would have that channel advertising that in the United States you can get benefits if you are an immigrant. But again, it's up to the government to investigate this whole situation. All I can tell you here is this. Asylum process that typically is used for somebody who would like to get papers in the United States after entering without inspection or parole is not so easy to receive. Some bloggers online portray it as a 1, 2, 3 thing. They give you a roadmap of what you need to do or what you need to say, but the reality is harsh. It's not going to be 1, 2, 3 process. You can get stuck in it for decades. It's not so easy to overcome various stages of it. And you just generally need to know what are you getting into. For that purpose, I created a free asylum guide, which I will be publishing on my website. For anybody who would like to get it, guys, all you need to do is to visit my website in a couple of days, and I will share that guide with you, which basically explains the steps, the various processes in the United States, and gives you pretty good information. So you don't have to go through multiple sources. You can find your answers, at least the beginning of your research, in one place, and you will understand what it is to ask for asylum in the United States, right? Because I feel that very often people get involved with these bloggers online, and then they made mistakes thinking that they will easily get something, but it's not so easy in the United States. You need to know about that. Now we're going to cover good news from USCIS. Why it's good? Because more clarity is always good. USCIS updated the guidelines on T visa. People who are seeking relief as victims of human trafficking. They make more precise definitions as to who the reporting agency may be, what you need to do to qualify for the relief, such as you have to report your offender. And generally speaking, it gives good basis, good roadmap for practitioners to help people who were victimized in the United States. Human trafficking may occur not only because somebody physically dragged you through the border, it can occur through the deceit. Let's say the boyfriend, girlfriend invites you to the United States, arrange for this transportation, and then you find yourself in a terrible, terrible circumstances where you must provide free services of various nature, not necessarily intimate nature, where you're not paid what you're supposed to be paid under federal and state laws. Because, guys, in the United States, regardless of your status, you're entitled to be paid certain wages under federal and state laws. Different states have different level for the minimum wage. Federal has also certain guidelines. You're also entitled to overtime pay. And sometimes when you are getting abused by your employers, regardless of when you enter the United States, you may qualify for this T visa if the employer is using, especially using your immigration status to hold you in under their power, under their control. This is just one example of T visa. T visa qualifications. T visa is much faster to receive than a U visa, even though sometimes qualifications for those two overlap. But U visa may take 7-10 years now, and T visa takes 9 months. Huge difference, right? So this is something that, again, you need to know about. And if you know somebody who unfortunately suffered from labor abuse, from intimate abuse, then you may share this with them, that they should consult with an attorney and see if they can get status in the United States based on that. Now, final thing I wanted to talk about would be Trump plan to deport millions based on the law from 1798. You heard me right, 1798. There is a law, Alien Enemies Act, 1798, that was last used in 1947, that says that if the President of the United States designates a certain group of people as enemies, and actually more complicated than that. It's not the president, but the president has a power to order those people to be detained and then removed. People as young as 14 years old. But what people? What's happening? Who can be subject to this law? Because technically it is the law of the United States. Only those people who are nationals of the countries that the United States declared the war on. And to my knowledge, the United States has not been declaring any wars formally for a very long time. But that's a very interesting point. Or if the country, unfriendly country, committed an invasion into the United States. Again, that's like happened last time during the World War II, I would say, right, with Pearl Harbor. So the qualifications to use this act are virtually impossible to occur in the modern world. But again, you never know, I never know, we're going to see what's going to happen. It's just this news was all over the internet. It's worth mentioning. And you tell me what you believe is going to happen, what your thoughts are on the topic, right? Now, for those of you who are still with me, it's about 11 minutes. What I want you to do is this. If you would like to know more about asylum, guys, and if you are interested in asylum in the United States, no matter if you already filed for your case or you're going to file your case or you know somebody who's going to file the case, I can share with you. If you comment with a very simple hashtag, I love USA, under this live videos, I'll share with you our guide on 8 top practices for asylum in the United States. 8 top tips, what to watch out for, what to do if you are an asylum seeker in the United States. Hashtag I love USA. Very simple. I'm going to display it on my Facebook and YouTube lives. I love USA. I love USA. I hope you do too. All right. Now let's talk about your questions. I have lots of people here. And if you're on TikTok, DM me, direct message me with the tag I love USA. We're going to share that free guideline that I put together. Now, hi Asif, our asylum is denied, but our I-130 is approved. Can we stay here with adjustment of status? I do not know. I do not know who filed I-130 for you. And I believe you refer to a couple. It means you guys are adults. If I-130 was approved by your parent, I-130 approval is not going to change your situation, unfortunately. If a parent who has citizenship files I-130 for married son or daughter, what happens is this. First, it doesn't change your status by itself. Second, typically, you will have to wait for a priority date to be current, which may take up to 10 years. And only then you can use that I-130 approved for adjustment of status process in the United States. But the most important part of this process is that if you are in this preference family category where a parent is sponsoring you and you are married, you also have to demonstrate you've been in lawful non-immigrant status from the time you entered the United States until now in order to have this adjustment of status filed successfully, unless certain very limited exceptions apply. So it's going to be challenging to benefit from it if I understood the situation correctly. But why don't you take the documents that you have, show them to an attorney. You can consult with us. We have 4 different consultations that we're offering. 30 minutes, 40 minutes in person one, and premium one if you need one with a summary. And we will be happy to look into a situation and see what's going on and what your actions have to be. Also, under USCIS policy, if you were denied asylum in the interview and at this moment you don't have lawful non-immigrant status, they will place you in removal proceedings or deportation. This is something that you have to know, okay? And if the denial was in court, it means that you got an order of deportation against you already, okay? Hi, King Anthony. How much for 1 hour conversation on my case? Excellent question. How much we charge? I charge my hourly rate, $5.25. Okay, that's my hourly rate. And we call it the business consultation. You can have it in person, but on a certain days only, or you can have it online through whatever channel that is more convenient for you. Zoom, Skype, Google Meet, whatever that you choose, okay? But that's my prices. Other lawyers may have different prices. Tourism, certain firms with similar experience charge even more money. So I think my price is very, very affordable compared to my experience, guys. I have 16 years of experience. All right. Hi, Ryan. My cousin, I guess lawyer, made a mistake with one letter in his middle name. How long will it take to correct it? Where was this letter sent? What process is the person is under so that I can advise you better? Are they in immigration court? Are they in USCIS? Are they filing for the visa? If a mistake is made on the DV lottery application, even though I think DV lottery guidelines state that you shouldn't be using your middle names and go just by the way your name is printed in your passport, then it's a problem usually. Even though, again, there are variables. If the mistake was made on a visa application, it may be a problem, but that's easy to correct. You email to the consulate or you correct it with the intake clerk at the time of your appointment. If the mistake is made when you send documents to USCIS, try to use the typographical error function and correct it this way. In court, you just ask the court, you send the correction, you explain what happened. It shouldn't be a big deal. So we need to know where the mistake was made, what the significance of the document is, even if it makes sense to correcting it, because I do not know. If it's something that will affect the way your name is printed on the immigration documents, then, you need to correct it as soon as possible, all right? But I would need to know more information usually to advise you better. Hi, Lama. I sent my medical RFE 6 months ago and no decision until now. How long will it take for EB3 I-485? Is your EB3 category current? If it has not been retrogressed and it's current, 6 months, it's a little bit long to wait. Not sure what's happening with that. Why don't you ask your congressman for help? Okay. Hi, Caesar. Case was updated to show fingerprints were taken. All right. That's good. That means your case is moving along. All right, nothing to worry about there. But generally speaking, friends, if you see those updates from USCIS accounts, they don't really mean much. You may see that sometimes it says your processing time, so within like this medium processing times, one day is left to make a decision. You're like, yay, I'm going to have my decision soon. You click on your link next day, and it says 3 more months until the decision is going to be made. Okay, so it's a very, very typical situation. I wouldn't necessarily trust those updates and go with them 100% of the times, but things like fingerprints were taken. All right, that's good. Now, my favorite TikTokers, would you send me some hearts, please? So I feel your love as I'm answering your questions. Thank you very much, guys. And don't forget to share this stream if you can. All right, let me see. All right. Okay, hi, see if it's your son who's a US citizen filed for you, and you are a parent of a US citizen, and you have a legal entry to the United States. Now we're talking. We have now ability to adjust our status in the United States. Whether asylum is granted or denied, or if it's granted, you probably don't want to use it, but if it's denied, you're not an immigration court, definitely file for adjustment of status and inform asylum office about that. So perhaps asking for discretion not to issue that notice to appear. If you're in court, you will have to deal with this issue in court, but it's still possible, all right? Even after you have an order of removal against you, it's still possible. You file a motion to reopen. So that's great, great news. Now, let me see. I'm going to take some questions from my Facebook people. Guys, don't forget to hashtag I love USA if you would like to receive our top 8 tips about asylum in the United States. All right. Hi, Aviator Dude. Hello from Naples, Florida. How are you doing? All right, I'm doing fantastic. How are you? My I-601A got approved after 3.5 years. Gee, Would you know the wait time for the NVC to book my interview in Rio de Janeiro? Yay! All right, so Brazil, I haven't heard anything bad, negative about Brazil. I think if everything goes well within 6 months, you should have your green card. Typically, interview is going to be scheduled if you're documentary qualified, 90 days to 120 days from the time you're documentary qualified. Don't forget, you will have to have your medical exam, and don't forget, you will have to have those COVID vaccines. All right? Some people go through I-601A process, they go till the very end, and then they find out they need to have COVID vaccines. They didn't have the vaccines. It becomes a problem. But if you're cool with this, and you know that you need to have the vaccines, and you're all fine, I hope within 6 months you're going to have your green card, all right? But congratulations on your I-601A approval. That's great. Hi, Jamal. I received my filing documents for my and wife, for myself probably and wife, but children are aged out. Was it your brother who was sponsoring you and your children aged out? Right before you gave up on the process, just consult with an attorney to see if Child Status Protection Act cannot help your kids. Okay, that's all. Unfortunately, it's true. There is no automatic complete age freezing in preference categories, guys. And sometimes children will age out, but we still check every single time in hopes that it's going to work. All right. Hi, Stefan. You're very welcome. Thank you very much for appreciating our lives. USCIS sent me an email saying we have taken action on your case, but when I check it, there is no update yet. I wouldn't worry about this because you don't really know what action specifically they took. Maybe they took document from one edge of the desk and put it to another pile. That qualifies as an action, right? Maybe they checked your background. So I wouldn't worry about this. If the case is within normal processing times, it's all right. If the case is outside of normal processing times, first thing that you need to do is to contact your congressman asking them for help to move the case along. This is what I advise everybody. Why? It's free. And you can do it without any type of retaliation, usually, on behalf of the government. All right. Hi, Kima. Morning. Don't forget mom. All right. Let me know what you mean by that. I'll be very happy to help you out. Hi, Jabbar. I call the office. Little talk to me, but I'm in Saudi Arabia right now. How I'm coming to United States. All right. If you guys want to consult with me specifically, you don't have to be physically in the United States. We work with people from all 50 states and overseas using, video calls, which are free. You just need to have internet. So that's not a problem. How you can come to the United States, we're going to discuss during our next live, because we're going to be discussing specifically EB2 route of coming to the United States, coming through employment, EB2, EB3, work permits, work-based immigration, what professions you need to be in having successful immigration to the United States, how long the process may take, and so on and so forth. If you have questions about this employment route of immigration, type them up here, please. DM me, and I will be covering them during our next live, all right? Don't be shy. We love questions here. Hi, Farman. How can I apply to the United States from Pakistan? That's one of the things we're going to be discussing. Hi, Gabby. All right. My asylum court hearing was completed, but no decision is made until now. It has been more than 4 months. Is it bad indication, and what can I do at this point? It's not necessarily a bad indication. It all depends. I do not know what happened during your asylum hearing, what transpired there. I think you should speak with your attorney about this. Did the judge say that they need more time to review all the submissions and facts? Did the prosecutors say that they're going to be submitting extra evidence? I do not know any of that. Not necessarily a bad indication again. Of course, it's always better when you get your asylum grant on the day of your hearing, but don't give up hope. Another important thing, guys, that sometimes the law changes. Maybe the judge was reviewing the case and the law changed, and now they have to take more time and perhaps even schedule another hearing to clarify certain points. So that may happen. But by itself, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't, honestly, there is no sense in being super stressed out about this. You're not going to change anything. If you do want to push the court a little bit, ask your attorney to file a motion to expedite the decision, if it makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't, all right? Sometimes it doesn't. I don't know the situation. Hi, Lucky. If someone is living in the in the US, how to get them here on mainland via marriage? I use Virgin Islands. If they don't have papers to come to the United States, and somebody who is living in the United States, that person does, you guys will have to get married if you have a true relationship and sponsor them by filing I-130. Or maybe, if you're not sure yet if you want to get married and you are a US citizen, you can go for Fiancé visa, which is teeny tiny bit faster, but sometimes not even faster. So I typically will not recommend even going with a Fiancé visa, just straight with a marriage immigration. If it's your, boyfriend or girlfriend. If not, well, that's a totally different story. Now that person only is left with employment route, usually, or investment route, okay? But they will need to have a visa or parole to enter the United States. Hi, Basira. USCIS withdrew the money from my bank account for my green card, and I did the fingerprint as well. That's great. It means they're processing the case and the application was, in fact, accepted. All right, okay. That's great. We answered that. You're welcome, Caesar. Thank you guys for your hearts. Do you think we can reach 1,000 hearts? All right. Hi, Candice. If the sponsor has a domestic violence charge but is no pending, will that stop spouse from coming to the United States? I'm not sure. If I-130 was already approved and there is a domestic violence charge, you said it's pending? I do not know. If the person has a conviction in domestic violence, which also may qualify as the bar under Adam Walsh Act, and you haven't received your visa, then the consulate, upon discovery of that, may technically send your petition to be revoked, I think. And I know there will be like complicated mechanics of that, but typically, usually, a conviction of the petitioner is not going to affect the process when they want to sponsor the spouse, child, sibling. But if the conviction also qualifies as the bar under Adam Walsh Act, then it's a problem. What am I talking about? Well, there are certain crimes where a person was convicted of some violent offenses or endangerment of the welfare of a child. In such a situation, such a person cannot successfully file I-130. In other words, the I-130 will not be approved. Adam Walsh Act. All right. Hi, user 8ZG. Waiting for H4 EAD for a year. What can I do? You can file a request to expedite your work permit. USCIS just updated their guidelines on how to expedite any petition application with them. You should read them. I had a video about them. I also have a little video on my Instagram showing those guidelines. Ask them to expedite your work permit, explain why you need it. Hopefully they will listen, all right? Because sufficient time passed already for you. Hi, Samir. I got RFE for medical exam. I filled it and sent it back to USCIS. No interview, thanks. It's not necessarily that you're not going to be called for the interview, but very often you won't be. Of course, if USCIS uncovers some other issues, except for the missing medical exam or insufficient medical exam, you may be called for the interview. Hopefully, you will not. Be patient. Be patient. To start the I-130 with you, how much will it cost? Who are you going to sponsor? If you're sponsoring your spouse, it's more expensive. Why? Because we have to, we try to avoid the interview. So we have to really do a great job on your case, collecting all the possible evidence that you guys have a real marriage. And if everything works, within 4 to 5 months, you're going to get a green card for adjustment of status. It means that your non-citizen is in the United States, right? If your non-citizen is outside of the United States, we also have to do a good job. Why? For the spouse. If you submit I-130 with very few supporting documents, what's going to happen is that it may be revoked already at the consular stage, even though it was approved. So you have to do an extremely good job. So I-130s for spouses are more expensive. Typically, they start with $3,500. If it's a more complicated case, prior denials, accusations of fraudulent marriage, it's going to be more expensive. For everybody else, typically it's cheaper, okay? But the government fees are $675 for everybody. Hi, Talib. If I work, если я работаю, I'm going to answer this question in Russian because it was asked in Russian, guys, okay? Если я работаю в армии 15 дней в месяц, возможно ли легализоваться? Если вы просто работаете как контрактор, скорее всего, что нет. Но также зависит от того, где вы работаете. Например, если вы из таких стран, как Афганистан, вы можете попросить, ну, сейчас, наверное, нет, если до этого у вас такое было, попросить Special Immigrant Visa в некоторых случаях. Если вы просто как контрактор, то нет. Вам обычно нужно быть member of the military, то есть просто контракторы, они этим не считаются, и тогда вы можете просить, например, гражданство. Но опять же, member of the military, это значит, что у вас уже есть статус, что вы имеете грин-карту. А просто, когда вы работаете может быть, как переводчик, то, к сожалению, обычно нет. Это вам ничего не дает, но может служить позитивным фактором. Да? Если там, не дай бог, какие-то проблемы, то это может служить позитивным фактором в вашей миграционной ситуации. Alright, guys. Hi, Shan. Wow, approved 5 months. Now, they just updated my RFE for medical. How long is the decision? I do not work for them. I will not know. But if they ask you for your medical, it means most likely that within the next couple of months, if they have no other issues with you, they will be issuing your green card. Guys, don't forget about the hashtag I love USA, right? And we're going to send you a free asylum guidelines. Are you bringing in Ukrainians? Am I bringing in Ukrainians? Oh, I have a bunch of them right here. It's a joke. No, I'm not bringing in anybody, but I am consulting people if they have questions about legal process of how to sponsor somebody on U4U. Absolutely. I also consult people on TPS, right? So absolutely anything related to legal immigration, I am doing that. Hi, Andy. Hi, Alina. My name is Andy. I'm your visa applicant. Hold on. I am your visa applicant and I got my work permit through bona fide determination. I live in the state, but I have to leave the country. My question, what is your question, Andy? All right, here's our second part. If I leave the country after the USCIS accepted my case, am I able to come back through consular processing? I do not know. If you have unlawful presence in the United States, which may turn into unlawful presence bar, and you leave the United States without advance parole, you may be stuck and you may be required to have a waiver before you come to the United States, okay? That's something you need to know. All right. Hi, Wait Dudes. Thank you very much. Hi, Cecile. How much is my consultation? We have 4 different types of consultations. They're on our website, shaltsova.com. 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, and the premium, depending on what you need to do, starts with $265. All right. We did 2 hearings. Hold on. Where does this go? Questions are jumping. All right, judge said she needed more time. All right, that Gabby, judge said she needed more time. We did 2 hearings. All right, it's okay. Give them time. Judge is extremely busy, guys. I know that for you, 4 months sounds like eternity. For them, it's nothing. They each have thousands of cases. So I wouldn't rush the judge for now. All right, I wouldn't rush the judge for now. Hi, Cecily. Cecily. I apologize if I mispronounced your name. I'm in removal proceedings. CR 42B still pending. Individual hearing is set for June 2025. Which one is good between cancellation of removal, ask for PD, and then file I-601A waiver? I would need to see your files and talk to you to determine that. Differences are general differences. Let's say you're granted, or the judge wants to grant you cancellation of removal in June of 2025. Do you know that it's going to take you 3+ years to receive your green card from that point? You're not going to get a green card immediately. We also need to know the age of qualifying relative if it's a child that potentially may be 3 to 4 years from now. Also, we have to know that. What if your qualifying relative ages out? I do not know. There is one case law that allowed the person who's qualifying kid aged out to still get a green card, but it's one case and general rules that you won't be able to. But if it's your spouse, then if it's your spouse that you're using, because you're talking about I-601A waiver and you're planning on getting married, staying married with them, then it may be not a problem. I-601A waiver means that you will have to travel overseas, all right? Cancellation of removal, interesting fact, you don't need to have medical exam for cancellation of removal, hence you don't need to have COVID vaccines. Again, for some people, it's a point. For some people, it doesn't matter. I-601A waiver means you will have to go overseas, you will have to get vaccines done on medical exam. But the most important part is your history in the United States. People with permanent bars sometimes can qualify for cancellation removal, but they will not qualify for visas. So we need to see what potential legal issues you have, time preference, and generally how strong our I-601A waiver is and who is your judge, all right? Because not cancellation of removal. Cancellation of removal has higher standards than I-601A waiver to meet before the relief can be granted, okay? Now, guys, I'm going to answer one last question for tonight, and please don't forget to join me for the next lives. Again, if you'd like to have our free asylum tip guide, don't forget to comment with hashtag I love USA. Hi, Yasir. Have pending VAWA. Hold on. All applications transferred to Nebraska, but I-45 transferred with I-129 premium processing. What that mean? I don't know. There is no premium processing for I-45 in connection with VAWA. It just doesn't exist. So I'm not sure what's happening here. I'll be honest. Did you file for something else at the same time? But there is no premium processing from family-based. There is no premium processing for I-45, period. I'm going to tell you that. Thinking about this, there is premium processing for work-related petitions. So maybe there is something else happening there. You know, I don't know. Why don't you ask your lawyer? Somebody's filing all this stuff for you, right? Somebody is doing this. All right, guys. Hi, Shan. VAWA approved 5 months. Yes, I answered that. Well, guys, listen, thank you very, very much for your participation, for your questions, for the hashtags. If you left one or if you're going to choose to leave one, remember, if you do it, but you need to do it within 48 hours of this video. I know it's going to be recording because then we're going to have new video, new interesting things to discuss. Next time, we're going to be talking about employment, immigration to the United States, how to qualify, how long it takes, what the process entails, and so on and so forth. Send your questions. So we're going to have interesting discussion, and hopefully you're going to get some answers to those questions that are bothering you, and maybe you don't want to pay for consultation or you just want to have some general information. That's going to be perfect for you. So don't forget to sign up, subscribe, share, like, and I hope to see you soon.